You were born too soon. Not premature, not by accident. Every human who ever lived showed up before they were finished. Look at a baby horse. It stands up within an hour. A baby zebra runs from lions on day one. A baby gorilla grabs its mother's fur and holds on tight while she climbs. Now look at you. On your first day, you could not even lift your own head. You could not roll over. You could not crawl. You could not hold on to anything. You could not keep yourself warm. You could not find food. Put a newborn human alone in the wild, and it lasts minutes. So why are you like this? Why does the smartest animal on Earth make the most useless baby on Earth? The answer is a strange trade your ancestors were forced to make, and it quietly explains almost everything about being human. Start at the top. Your skull. Inside it is a brain about 3 times bigger than a chimp's. It is your most expensive part. It burns a fifth of your energy and weighs almost nothing. That brain lets you read this. That same brain is why you were born unfinished. Here is the trap. A big brain needs a big head. A big head has to fit through your mother's hips. And those hips were getting smaller, not bigger. Rewind 6 million years. Your ancestors stood up. They started walking on 2 legs. Walking upright is efficient, but it forced the hips to narrow and rebuild, just to balance your weight over 2 feet. See the crash coming? Brains kept growing. The opening kept shrinking. A giant brain and an upright walk, both pushing against each other, inside the body of every pregnant woman. This problem has a name. Scientists call it the obstetrical dilemma. Anthropologist Sherwood Washburn made the phrase famous in 1960. His logic was simple. Shrink the head, and you lose intelligence. Widen the hips, and you ruin walking. So evolution picked a third door, a compromise. It made birth happen earlier. Babies started arriving before their brains were done. The head slips out while it is still small. Then the brain finishes growing outside in the open air. Feel the top of a newborn's head and you find proof, a soft, pulsing gap where the bone has not closed. It is called the fontanelle. It lets the skull bones fold and overlap, squeezing the head small enough to pass. The skull is left unfinished on purpose, just so it fits. Next to other primates, you were basically evicted early. How early? A Swiss biologist named Adolf Portmann did the math. To be born as ready as a baby ape, your pregnancy would need to run about 18 to 21 months, not 9. So every human baby spends its first year as a kind of outside fetus. By animal standards, you should still be inside the womb. Some doctors now call this the 4th trimester. The missing months you finish in the world instead. Portmann named the idea too, secondary altriciality. Altricial just means born helpless, like a baby bird, blind and bald in the nest. The opposite is precocial, born ready, like that foal on its feet. You are a ready-built animal that gives birth to helpless babies, built to be capable, arriving completely incapable. That contradiction sits inside the first year of every human life. But the story does not stop there. Lately, scientists have started poking holes in it. In 2012, an anthropologist named Dunsworth found a crack. The old story says hips cannot get wider or walking breaks, so she tested it. And she found barely any proof that wider hips make a worse walker. So if the hips could have widened, why is birth still this early and this hard? Her answer points somewhere else, to the mother's body and what it can afford. She calls it the energetics of gestation and growth. Pregnancy ends, she says, not when the baby is too big to fit, but when the mother runs out of fuel to keep growing it. A late-term fetus is starving for energy. At some point, the mother hits a ceiling. She simply cannot eat enough for 2 bodies and 1 giant brain. So the baby comes out, not because it will not fit, because it can no longer be fed inside. Either way, the result for you is the same. You came early, you came soft, and you survived only because of something most animals barely need: other people. Picture it. One real moment, 30,000 years ago. A woman is about to give birth. No hospital, no machine, no doctor. But she is not alone. Around her sit other women, a mother, a sister, an old woman who has done this many times. And here, birth turns strange. 2 anthropologists, Karen Rosenberg and Trevathan, studied exactly how humans are born. They found a problem no other primate has. In a chimp, the baby comes out facing forward, toward the mother. She reaches down and guides it out herself. In a human, the big head has to twist as it travels the narrow canal. It usually comes out facing backward, away from her. She cannot easily reach down, clear its mouth, or lift it to her chest without bending its neck the wrong way. So she needs other hands. Rosenberg and Trevathan argue that human birth became a group event out of pure need. The tight canal, the bad angle, the helpless newborn, all of it pushed your ancestors to help each other give birth. Helping at birth may be one of the oldest human habits there is. You were almost certainly born into a waiting pair of hands. But birth was only the first hurdle. The hard part came after. A helpless baby is a heavy cost. It cannot walk for a year. It cannot feed itself for much longer. It has to be carried, fed, watched, and kept warm every hour for years. One tired mother could not do all of that alone, not while gathering food, not in a world full of teeth. So she did not do it alone. The anthropologist Sarah Blaffer Hrdy gave this a name: cooperative breeding. It means a baby is not raised by its mother alone, but by a whole circle of helpers: aunts, sisters, older children, grandmothers, sometimes unrelated members of the group. Hrdy calls these extra carers alloparents, other parents, hands that are not the mother's taking turns holding the same child. Picture the camp. The baby passes from arm to arm. One person feeds it, another rocks it, another watches it while the mother walks off to dig for roots. No single human carries the whole weight. The tribe carries it together. And one helper mattered more than the rest: the grandmother. The anthropologist Kristen Hawkes noticed something strange about human women. They live for decades after they stop having children. Almost no other animal does that. So why keep an elder around who can no longer give birth? Her answer is simple: because she feeds the grandchildren. An old woman who gathers food and shares it lets her daughter have the next baby sooner. The helpless child survives because grandmother never stopped working. Now here is the twist that flips everything. For a long time, all this looks like a flaw, a painful accident biology got stuck with. But what if it is the opposite? What if your helplessness is the best thing about you? Think about what it means to grow your brain outside the womb. It means your brain got wired out here, in the light, surrounded by faces, voices, hands, words, danger, and love. A foal's brain is mostly finished before birth, sealed, fixed. Your brain was built by the world. Every face you saw wired you. Every word you heard wired you. Every time someone picked you up when you cried, that wired you too. That is the hidden gift. Because you came unfinished, your culture could finish you instead of just your genes. A finished animal can only be what instinct made it. An unfinished animal can become almost anything it is taught. That is why you can learn any of 7,000 languages. That is why you can do things no ancestor could. That is why a child today can think thoughts no ancient mind could reach. And it may go deeper. A scientist named Dean Falk noticed something about mothers. A mother cannot always hold a baby while her hands work, so she puts it down nearby and calms it with her voice instead. Soft, sing-song, up and down. Some researchers think that gentle voice, repeated over millions of helpless babies, sits near the very beginning of human language. So the most useless newborn on Earth was hiding something. Your helplessness did not make you weak. It made you teachable. It made you social. It forced a whole tribe to hold you, talk to you, and pour their world into you before you could lift your own head. Which brings you back to the start. You were born too soon, but not by accident, and not as a flaw. You were born unfinished so the world could finish you. So the faces leaning over your crib could write themselves into your brain and turn one helpless little animal into a human being.